Hi, I'm Khalid Rahmri. I am a grade 12 student in Saudi Arabia studying at King Faisal School, an IB school. With it being an IB school, there are a lot of demands, but one of the things I do enjoy about being in an IB school is the CAS in general, basically. And in CAS, we have to do a CAS project. And in this video, I'll be explaining my CAS project and basically giving you background information on what I learned, mainly everything about this CAS project, actually going in depth and identifying everything to do with the CAS project. So let's start off with what my CAS project is, and that is the KFS Bazaar. Basically, what the KFS Bazaar is, as you can tell, Bazaar is an event, and an event is a planned get together with tons of people. Um, Being in Saudi Arabia, the market for events grew very highly in the past 2 years, and a lot of places started to do events. In these events, there would be food trucks, there would be booths, local sellers. Basically, it's a place where you support a Saudi businessman, a woman with a clothing line, anything that you can help out for people with companies. And basically, in this bazaar or Layal al Faisal, as we did name it, there was a lot of planning to go through with it. There was tons of money involved. I can give you an estimate of how much money went through to do this event, and it's close to around 300,000 Saudi riyals, which is about 60-70,000 US dollars. And I was kind of in charge of all the paperwork, or some of it, in this bazaar. So, in this bazaar, I had a lot of jobs, and me and my friends also had a lot of jobs. Basically, we were doing something that no other company, school, or anything were doing, and that's basically creating a bazaar by ourselves. We did it with the school's funding, and we did fund in the beginning from our own pockets, which we have received the money back from the school after the bazaar. What my jobs were in the bazaar was basically, firstly, I was a social media leader, and I'll be inserting a screenshot anyone here of the Instagram page I created with my friend, my other friend who is holding the Instagram page with me, and we gained 1,400 followers in a week because we kind of opened the account up late, so that can say hard we did work, how hard we worked to how hard we worked on the Instagram page basically. What I would do was marketing, finance, and kind of, yeah, marketing and finance. Basically, in the marketing region, I would do the social media, and that's branching out to companies to ask them if they can sponsor us. We got like 4 sponsors who all paid us, and that money was used to pay off our debts to either it was the lion companies, it was the builders who came and built the booths, as we had booths out for the people being invited over to sell their products, and I would have to count the numbers, with crunch numbers with my friend. So in this Instagram account, I would in this Instagram account, I would actually edit with Photoshop. Basically, photos about the event. I also would post the stories. Basically, meaning I would be running around for the majority of the day, going to companies, helping them out, giving them a hand. Obviously, as we had 1,400 followers, we got a story viewing on Instagram of I think 1,500 because we reached the popular page in our region. And so I felt the need to help them out, go ask them for a product I can upload on my account, on our account. And yeah, so that was one of my jobs. I did talk about me crunching the numbers and doing the numbers. I have some things I can show. I also, other than obviously crunching numbers and doing the social media thing, I kind of was obligated to sort out the positioning of all trucks, and that means a truck has 4 workers, and I would be so there wouldn't be any complications in the entrance or in leaving. We had to give them badges to make sure that they were workers, and we have this badge which says participant or musharik in Arabic. And basically this badge would you would write your name here, the worker's name, and that would mean you are accepted into this event. And being accepted into this event, so you didn't have complications going in and leaving. And then obviously being the leader of the Snapchat and the Instagram, we had our snap codes. This is called a lens. It's basically when someone takes a photo of something on Snapchat, you can swipe left until you find our filter that someone created for us, and I had to implement it on Snapchat, which basically kind of was a process, but yeah, that was great. I was a part of a team of 20 people with 8 organizers, 3 leaders, and the rest volunteers. I was an organizer. Actually, you can see by this little vest I have, which says group leader, and then the name of the event, Layali Al-Faisal, Al-Faisal Night, basically translated. And this little vest would give me the authority to go and complete all my tasks, basically. Now I'd like to speak about my CAS point of view of this, what this is considered as. Basically, I went into this not blindfolded, but I went into this not knowing much. I was involved in the previous year's bazaar or event, but it was just social media. But this time I had a lot of work to do, a lot of talking to higher positioned people, and basically the first learning outcome I can speak about here is written: identify own strengths and develop areas of growth. Students are able to see themselves as individuals with various abilities and skills, of which some are more developed than others. What I can say is I'm quite developed in the editing aspect. I did not improve in that in the slightest. I did get comments, and I did meet a few important people telling me about how good the editing was, and I'm super proud of that. But the things I did strengthen: the way I talk to people, the way I interpret people's ideas, the way I foresee how things are being done. Obviously there's a lot of planning to do with it, so we had to plan out all the positions and why this had to be here, why this had to be here. So we can say for the game booths, as we said, they had to be near the electricity because they used the most electricity. They had lights, they had running things, they had basketball nets, they had everything was electronic with their scoreboards and everything. So we had to keep them close to the electrical things. And then we had for the food trucks, we had to get them close to water supply and electricity, obviously. And last but not least, the clothing, the juices, they had to be somewhere near for the people to be accessible to. We don't want to make it that far away, we don't want to make it that close to the games. We had to really branch out everywhere, right? So I can say one of my strengths that I've gained here is organization, determination. I was determined. This was probably a month and a half's work of like real work in and out of school. Had to leave school, had to go to school. I still had my IB going on. Some new challenges. So that's two. So some new challenges that have been undertaken, developing new skills in the process. A new challenge may be unfamiliar, maybe an unfamiliar experience or an extension of an existing one. The newly acquired or developed skills may be shown through experiences that the student has not previously undertaken through the increased expertise in an established area. And like I said, I had to learn how to organize. I'm not the smartest in math, so you can see how that went. I really did improve in my math, and it might sound like quite obvious, but I really did improve in my math. I really did improve in my math. I really did improve my math throughout crunching these numbers. So I can say that I did learn a lot of math throughout this. I didn't learn about editing. I did learn about organization though. I did learn about time management. Yeah, that was a huge aspect in this bazaar. Time management was extremely important. I had to balance my IAs, my internal assessments, and I had to balance this, and I had to prioritize which one comes first. And obviously I picked the IAs, but there's still time I gave the same determination, the same value to the KFS Bazaar, even though I'm not getting anything out of it but my experience. And people may think, oh, why are you working this hard for nothing? I feel like experience is something huge for the future, and being in an IB school, you need this to go on to university and go to have a job and get a family. So basically, the third thing is how I initiated this CAS project. So around February, we picked. I was obviously in the team from the beginning, from last year. So the students who were already there. Sorry for the camera sliding. Students who were already there, we had to pick people we can trust with money, people who are organized, people who weren't failing. Basically, we had to really go in depth with the people. We had to see some grades. We had to know that if we're allowed to, if we're allowed to pick them or not, because we don't want to affect their school education. Yeah, so we had to do that. We had to call a lot of companies. We had to get a lot of sponsorships. Basically, our theme for this event was the neon. So we paid around 50K for neon lights. We had to set up these neon lights. We had to know the exact voltage of each neon light and each extension cord, the voltage and everything we know. We need to know the amps. We need to know tons of things. So that was all planned out prior to getting everything. And then when the event came, I had already my action plan made. If I had it up, I probably will throw it up on the screen right now. We had an action plan made where everyone will be staying. And that was made by our leader with the help of me. And show commitment and perseverance in CAS experiences. Students demonstrate regular involvement and engagement in CAS. I'll be showing a few pictures right now, basically showing how determined I was with this by staying. I have a few pictures of me staying on school grounds until like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and I was there from like 5 a.m. and that kind of shows that I was really determined staying in school for that long to help with the CAS project, demonstrate the skills and recognize the benefits of working collaboratively. This is crazy. I can imagine how hard it would be if I didn't have my friends throughout this. They say working with friends is quite difficult and quite harming to the friendship, but I really think working as a collaboration with my students and fellow students, I actually grew a greater love for them and greater respect for them. They helped me learn things I never knew about. I learned tons of things. I learned how to crunch numbers. I learned how to edit even better because of my teammate. I learned how to organize. I learned how to plan a meeting. I learned how to write a formal presentation. I learned how to write an action plan. I learned how to print these. I learned how to get the vest. I learned how to tons of things. I can go on and on about them. Demonstrate engagement with issues of global significance. This kind of ties up with recognize and consider the ethics of choices and actions. So basically, I could just before that I can say some activities throughout this project. They were quite limited, but if I was gonna go and say some activities, I could talk about how I was running around constantly giving people badges because they couldn't enter the place, and some people lied, some people forged badges, which I then caught, and then we fined them, or not fined them, we just made them pay for the badge they forged, and we gave them a real one. Some people weren't allowed back in. I had to keep a level of professionalism, even though some people that forged it were very close to me. And you can see here about the engagement with global issues, basically being in Saudi Arabia and with the current development of the country and for women's rights. We can talk about how last year the bazaar was quite iffy about this thing, and they weren't really sure to make it a mixed event, or just for the girls or just for the men. They didn't know what to do. In the end they made it mixed, but it went really bad. There's a lot of problems throughout it. Basically stuff against not only the government's orders but the religious orders in the country. Thankfully I wasn't involved in organizing them or setting them up, because I was just holding social media. And but this year, being more knowledgeable and knowing that we had to do this correct this time, firstly we got security. We got security, and we got them all over the campus throughout the 3 days of the bazaar. We organized that it will be a mix with men and women, families come. We wanted everyone. We wanted all the people we can get. We wanted to let them see how hard we worked for this to be success. And thankfully that did go to plan. But here we had to bend some rules, right? We couldn't just go out and make it all women, all men, and make it a normal thing. We had to bend rules. We can make it that. That's what we did do, but we made it to an extent, right? We made it to an extent, and some previous problems were to do with some engagement between the men and the women, and it's not that I have a problem with that or anything, but being in Saudi Arabia, I have to follow the rules, and I am obligated to follow the government's rules, right? I'm not trying to do anything that's not allowed. So this year we did that, and we were obligated to the school's rules and the government's rules and religious rules. So that's kind of an ethical and global issue we had. It's not really an issue, but it's the way you perceive it. And that was my CAS project. I'm super proud of doing it. And if I had the chance to do it all over again, I'm 100% sure I'll do it again. Thank you. My name is Khalid Al-Ahmari, and that's my CAS project. Thank you. فزت على البريك حقي اليوم، والله العظيم انه جامد. بس والله العظيم الحين رجعت الشغل، بيت الرعب، ماسك بيت الرعب. شوفوا finally done.